Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name is Bob, I'll be your host. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my feelings for Dungeons and Dragons. And I've been planning on making this video for a little bit, but haven't gotten around to it till now. And this year, Dungeons and Dragons is unveiling its new version of Dungeons and Dragons, which is supposedly exactly the same as the last version, 5th edition, but they're doing stuff with it. I don't know. I don't have the new books and really don't feel like getting them anytime soon because I'm kind of over regular D&D for a while. Now, for those of you that have been in the hobby, that have just joined it more recently within the past few years and are worried about the change to a new edition or format or whatever, don't panic. I've been through this many times. I've been through an edition change with Dungeons & Dragons several times. I've been through it with the Star Wars role-playing game. I've been through it with the World of Darkness and many other games. So don't panic. If you want, check out the new rules, the new stuff. Give them a look over. If you like them, play it. If you don't, stick with where you're at. You don't have to move on. And that's not a bad thing. If the other players move on, you don't want to, you can find other players. It might take you a little time. Sometimes it does. But you'll find new players. Me, I'm not really interested in going on with the new D&D stuff. At least not right now. I'm not really enthusiastic about a lot of the directions they're going. I was kind of excited when 5th edition came out, and they killed that for me about a year in, and I'm not going to go into that, but so since then I've kind of wandered away from modern Dungeons & Dragons. Now, I still have an interest in basic Dungeons & Dragons, and in 1st and 2nd edition, and a little bit in 3rd, but beyond that, I'm not that interested. Pathfinder's another story. It's alright, but I've gotten so sick of Pathfinder lately, I'm kind of over it too. I haven't even gotten any of the 2nd edition stuff for it, so I don't know what it's like yet, which I plan to get at some point, but not right now. But Dungeons & Dragons have been a very important part of the roleplay experience for decades. It's basically what started it all. I mean, there were other things, but Dungeons & Dragons has been the big all the way throughout. And there are other games that you can play and have a lot of fun with. And that would be my suggestion, is to find you something else. But for those of you that are going this new route, are worried about it, and want to stick with D&D, don't panic. Stick with what you want. If you want to go to the new stuff, go to the new stuff. Like I said, I don't care for the directions they're going, making it to where it has to be online and all this. I'm not big on that. Now, I have been relegated to playing online, but I have no interest in the D&D online stuff. I try to keep mine mostly on Discord. And there are other apps you can get that you can play online with your friends. That would be my recommendation. But D&D has, I don't know, it's gotten to where it wants to be bigger, and that's cool, but they're really kind of turning their backs on a lot of their old fans, and in some cases I've heard about them villainizing them, which is not cool. But for me, I think I'm going to stick with the old stuff. I've little interest in going forward with them at this point. But if you're a fan of the modern D&D stuff and you don't mind playing online and everything, don't let the new stuff overwhelm you. Check it out a little and go. Me, I'm kind of done moving on with D&D for now. I'll just stick with what I like, and that's the older stuff, which I can still get new books for it by having them print on demand on TribeThruRPG, which I've been doing lately, because there's a lot of books I wanted but never got around to getting, and I can get new copies of books that have been discontinued for decades, which is cool. But right now I'm just trying to get a old school basic Dungeons & Dragons game going. So far I haven't been able to get a group together, but I will. Eventually I will. I've also been wanting to get a proper Lamentations of the Flame Princess game going. In my envisionment, the newer Dungeons & Dragons, you're not really playing heroes. You're playing superheroes. And there is a difference there. I hear people say things about how they've played a game and they've got a TPK in the 5th edition, which kind of floors me. I don't see how that's really possible unless your game master's a jerk and specifically trying to kill you, or if you're trying to get yourselves killed. But for the most part, it is really hard to die in the modern versions of the game, which to me removes an entire element. For me, I like my fantasy games to be a little bit deadly because there's a risk. There's a bit of horror in that. Horror you don't find in the modern versions. I like mine gritty and kind of thinking of the old sword and sorcery stuff from the 80s. That stuff is cool to me. A lot of this new stuff is just superheroes running around killing stuff. And that gets rather old very fast for me. But those are my feelings on the whole D&D thing. I wanted to put a video out. I'm not saying anything new or adding anything else to the fire that hasn't been said before by somebody else. And I don't know everything because I don't keep that much up on it. I just have no interest in moving on with them. That's just me though. But like I said, play what you want to play. Don't let anybody intimidate you to move along with them or to stay back with them. Go where you want. If your other players in your game move on or don't move on, depending on how you go, you can find others. It can be a difficult task sometimes. I'm having that myself right now. But it is possible. And sometimes it just takes a while. But hopefully you get something out of my rambling here. And hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.